free mobile clinic.
Nice.
And we are opening another place on 19th Avenue, and right now we are in East Mesa.
Yeah.
But 19th and McDowell, we are
Nice.
opening free dental clinic, free eye clinic with Lions Club, and also with free medical clinic.
Yeah.
And the food pantry.
So
and
that's not mobile clinic, that's a
that's
standing building.
Yeah, that's
Nice.
it. We got like 7,000 square feet. We are very lucky. So we are going to do everything there also because the need is much more. Although this is not your area, this is more here, but the need is different. So it's a big grant. It was approved in Biden period, but it was still there. So state they have to use it. So it is
Okay,
like
good, very good.
$836,000 grant, which the state invited us. We went there. They came to our shelter everywhere. So we show them that this is the
That's so nice.
so
पीछे हटने की जरूरत नहीं है
We're doing photo, okay.
yeah.
to the Middle East, and the first thing he did was tweet about Taylor Swift. That's where his priorities are these days.
Exactly.
Social issues. Certainly Democrats can't lose our souls. We gotta be the party of civil rights, otherwise what do we stand for? However, the question is, did we lead with that as opposed to leading with issues that most Americans care about, so-called kitchen table issues? You know, did the issue about transgender Americans or transgender youth become centered where they should have been side issues, and we should have centered more economic
Democratic
issues?
Party was ignoring. And it's not all about economics. I think, I mean, when I talk to people, it's about, and Eduplay have done surveys and whatnot, So I think we can be smart in these times to adopt those issues which are close to people's hearts. And then combine them with the wisdom that we're talking about,
Okay.
right? Because everybody wants to have the balances of checks and balances. Because if we start, for me to just not do something that I can do within the reason of a human while planting a garden, I can also plant the garden of wisdom among ourselves and have a conversation about what we can do as diaspora.
Before that, we really didn't know this whole concept. We were doing all the ritual of prayers, but not the mindfulness. Mindfulness is being in the present moment where we are, not in the past, not in the future, but right now where we are. So mind is a chatterbox and brain is a chatterbox. It talks all the time. Never a dull moment in your life. And people who practice mindfulness they're able not to block them, but let them pass like clouds. Like you have thoughts and you let them pass like clouds and don't do any reactions to that. And that is what we learn when we had Roma, we have any issues of the past, or we are talking to people around us and we don't like anything. We are reactionary, and we are not able to bring ourselves in awareness that what we have to speak. So if we practice these skills, it helps us actually building relationship, bringing mind to the focal point, and being in the present moment. And it helps in a lot of issues.
Okay. This is how it kind of really works in Washington, D.C. on a letter like this. Okay, so Jack Bergman, who is a very outstanding member of Congress, very well respected, more bipartisan than most other members of the Republican. He's visited Pakistan recently, and he was a Republican lead. They were looking for a Democratic lead in the entire Congress for this particular letter. Assad and others asked that I would be the lead. My staff looked at the letter. The staff, at least the Democratic staff at the Foreign Affairs Committee, Assad, you don't even know this, so you'll be learning something, looked at the letter. They did not want me to lead on the letter. They were concerned because it specifically mentions former Prime Minister, that this was only about the former Prime Minister and whether or not I supported the former Prime Minister. And and they were concerned that I would then sort of, anything good or bad or otherwise with the former prime minister, I would take on that. But for me, because this group was behind this letter, and that I personally respected
It's going to be distributed through those members. Again, no conversation back and forth, it's just kind of a bulletin. And through that bulletin, we'll go over to bigger number of people in just one click. Obviously, we'll work in those 2 weeks, 3 weeks on the content.
Give us a chance to talk about POCPAC. I'm the current president of POCPAC National Board, and Asad is the immediate past president. So we've been working on POCPAC for a while, before being in this leadership position, but I'll just tell you a little bit about what we
Because they cannot. If you put a remarks on this print media in this group, you are giving a PICA Act over there that you cannot speak against the government. That act has been passed. You speak against the government.
They're a national group, they're headquartered here in Arizona. My district used to be a majority Democratic district by just a little bit. Now, because of all the work that they did, it's now a Republican district by 3 percentage points, which actually is, I gotta take note of that. I can't, so just because I have a tough district myself, I still feel so strongly that we've got to win this nationally. So I've got to do both things. I'm not as busy as a hand surgeon who's head of POCPAC, but I'm still going to be pretty busy trying to do my job in Congress, win my own re-election with your support, and then try to lead an effort to get the majority by getting moderate Democrats elected. So it's going to be a very, very busy time, but I think well worth it. And here's why. Whether you're Republican or Democrat, I hope we can agree that we need to restore checks and balances to our government. Right now, we don't have checks and balances. Normally,
And new Dems as well, but there has to be a balance.
we need both, yeah, of course. I was just gonna say, what that leads to, what you talk about is, I think what is under-discussed in the United States is, in the post-World War II time period, we've created these alliances around the world. And the alliances have been so positive for the United States, not just from a security perspective, but from an economic.
US is decided by the president, Pentagon. You can, I can sign any letter, but it will not any help. But I still appreciate you so much because you are with us, you are our best friend.
Yeah.
I'm not decreasing anything or criticizing, but that's the answer she had. Because she was a Republican, but any elected official can come and sit with us.
Of course, yeah. That, I'll just real quick address that. So, it's very difficult for a political candidate to do voter registration.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you why. Voter registration is incredibly time-intensive work.
World War that we
Yeah.
can make things better and cheaper. So what is your real answer to that claim and how we should approach to that danger that's being posed by
Well,
China?
look, so China and the United States are in a global competition, certainly. You mentioned nationalism. Maybe the greatest threat right now to this planet is AI. And this competition for leadership on AI